And now, time for weekly show with a passionate India lover, chairman of ITV Gold and Parikh Worldwide Media. Get ready for loving sharing from physician, philanthropist, publisher, and India advocate in this week.
Namaskar and welcome, and it's that time of the week when we have the honor of welcoming Padma Shri recipient Dr. Sudhir Parikh in our show this week with Dr. Sudhir Parikh right here on ITV Gold. Namaskar, Doctor.
Namaskar. Namaskar, everyone.
So Doctor, let's go with, President Trump. He continues to dominate headlines, and on Sunday he declared that Russian President Vladimir Putin has gone absolutely crazy as, after Russia launched its biggest attack on Ukraine and killing at least, I think, 12 people. So how do we move from this ceasefire to crossfire?
Well, I think I'm sure that Trump is frustrated about Russia-Ukraine thing. And he tries to, I think he's thinking about bringing more sanction on the Russia now. Because Russia is saying yes, but not doing anything. And not serious about it, So I think his next step should be, he should involve all the European country, those who are dealing with the Russia for their gasoline and gas, natural gas and whatever reason, oil and whatever. And they also sit down and start negotiating. Because there has to be a ceasefire, because otherwise there will be unnecessary innocent killing. So I think that way Donald Trump is serious about it, but this Putin is not serious about it. Looks like that way. And even he blames Ukraine president too, because he thinks that he doesn't have that finesse or that diplomatic sense to negotiate things. He's kind of, he was a formal comedian.
Right.
And so he doesn't have much, that's what he commented on, I think, other day, a couple of days ago, or yesterday, I don't know when. Yeah.
And, President Trump's administration is cutting Harvard federal research funding, unless it makes political changes. So my question to you is, should the government interfere on how universities are run?
I don't think so, because university, I think what he's trying to do, he's not going to prevail, because the Supreme Court will decide against it. Already they got, they stopped they stopped the whole, his order, the president's order, by saying that you cannot stop the fund to the university by saying that, because, so that is literally, Supreme Court will prevail. And Supreme Court will always go in favor of the colleges, because all the colleges are like this. It's not only Harvard. So and if you can constrain colleges from or restrict the colleges from getting the fund, then how the college can function? Or if you can tell that you cannot take international students, that 30% of the income of the or revenue which university needs comes from the international student, because they pay full tuition fee,
right,
as compared to American student.
Right.
So I think what Trump is doing is kind of out of normal thing, and he has to back down, and I think Harvard University will win at the end.
All right. And even let's talk about President Trump threatening Apple with a 25% tariff if it keeps making iPhones in India. So tell me, why is he targeting specific companies or sectors now?
No, because I think what I understand correctly that Apple manufacturing here is not really manufacturing. They manufacture the different part in different countries. And then they assemble. Okay. So what they are doing in India is not manufacturing iPhone. They are assembling iPhone.
Okay.
And what he says that assembling of the iPhone can be done anywhere. And with the AI coming, AI is coming very soon for them, like company like Apple and those Microsoft. It's very easy for them and very not that expensive for them to assemble. And that way they create more job in the USA. But I don't know how Apple will respond to it, because Apple, it costs only $500 to $600 to assemble the Apple
Right.
iPhone. So even Donald Trump puts 25% of the tariff, it's going to be $800.
Right.
And now they are selling at $1,200 anyway. So what, instead of getting $600 profit, they will get $400 profit. So what's big deal? We don't have to do fundraiser for Apple for that.
Right. So, let's even talk about President Trump, calling himself a mediator and linking India and Pakistan. I think it's raising concerns. So, how is this affecting the strong India-US relationship, which has been built over the years?
I think it's really, unfortunately, by having this kind of public controversy, President Trump saying that I'm the one who did it, and now our Indian government says that no, it's not true. So now we don't know, but that doesn't sound right, and it's very difficult, and it's not wise to contradict a person or country who is much powerful, or whose help we need badly. We should not contradict them. That's why I think probably Prime Minister was not saying anything before, because there's no sense in contradicting, So I think we should not contradict, but I think USA, hopefully US-India relations should go good, because I understand that US and India, they are coming up with some kind of trade deal, financial deal between them soon, probably in a couple of months. If it comes, then I think it's good for India.
Okay, let's talk about India, and all the Indian PR delegations are on the ground in different designated countries. So, and you also attended
Yes.
here at 9/11 Memorial. So tell me, has this been a success, or how is it helping?
Well, it is a kind of good diplomatic optic of the whole thing, and obviously what they should do, and I'm sure they are planning to do, to meet our congressmen and senators in Washington. And even if they get, and that's why I think they already requested that lobbying firm, the one we hired government hired just now. But lobbying firm cannot able to gather congressmen and senators. It has to be gathered by Indian diaspora, because usually congressmen and senators only talks to their constituents and always only believe in, suppose if I want Frank Pollon to attend that meeting, I had to call Frank Pollon myself, because I'm supporting him for last 22 years, year after year, so he will listen to me. And the same applies to everybody. So I think what they are planning to do is they are going to address the group of the congressmen and senators and explaining our side of the story, Indian side of the story, that India is against terrorism, and India has firm will to fight with the terrorists, and we need help from the country like USA. And that's why we took them delegation to the 9/11 Memorial, because it's a symbolic thing that it's a fight for terrorism, and I'm sure that all the country will agree with that. And I think probably diplomatically we'll get some mileage out of it. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right. And I just wanted your comments on, will India be able to succeed in getting Pakistan back on the Financial Action Task Force grey list?
Say it again.
Do you think that India will be able to succeed in getting Pakistan back on the Financial Action Task Force grey list? There is that FAFT is the list, that financial thing is there. So will India be able to get them back on that?
No, they are already back. Actually, the IMF has given billions of dollars right now. Even Bill Gates has given $3 billion by Microsoft Foundation. So they have already and China is giving a lot of money to Pakistan now.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about that. They will be back.
Okay.
And I'm only concerned about the Pakistan that, we taught them a good lesson, but I think I'm not sure how long that lesson will last.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
about, because their whole game is different, their whole thinking is different, whole agenda is different, and they want to keep this Kashmir issue alive to kind of divert their populations from the poverty and lack of progress in their country.
Okay, so moving on from there, let's talk about Prime Minister Modi. He just completed 11 years in office. And the thing is, will the new doctrine, terrorism and trade cannot go together and blood and water cannot flow together, be a top accomplishment, as it combines both India's economic might, projected to be fourth largest economy this year, and its military might. So I just want to know your comments on Modi ji's 11 years.
Well, I think Prime Minister Modi ji is really a great leader. He is very kind of aggressive and very visionary leader. But again, I agree with him that terrorism and the trade cannot go together. And I believe in that, and we must, all Indians should work for that. But on the reality of the ground, we don't know whether it will be very challenging, because we can control our action, but we cannot control the action of the opposite party, and so we cannot control action of the Pakistan, what they will do. So if they will do something, then according to our doctrine, we have to act or react,
Right.
and which may or may not be good in long run. We don't know. So I think it's a good kind of good principle, and that principle should be followed. That terrorism and trade cannot go together, and if Pakistan does again, then should be punished again. But how much, how, it's all depending upon the government of the day.
Okay, my next question is, as you know, I always ask you questions about medical things. So we are recently hearing about COVID is again rising in India. So tell me what's going on and what kind of precautions do we need to take here? Especially, we have people from India, a lot of people travel from India here. So what should we do?
Well, I'm sure the COVID is always going to come back and again. That's how epidemic or endemic works, because the virus is always around there in somewhere. And so by having 300 or 400 cases in the whole India is not unusual. The same thing here also. I mean, we see in our own practice COVID positive patients here even today. But because of the lot of availability of the vaccine, booster dosage, then preventive measures then you have to follow certain guidelines that you cannot go in the crowded area where you suspect something. You have to wear the mask. You have to be careful a little bit. So all those things, or whenever you feel kind of not sick or not well, then go and get a COVID test done. Unless you do the COVID test, you don't know whether you are COVID positive or not. But luckily, because of most of the 80-90% of the population has vaccine, at least first 3 dosage, the severity of the COVID infection currently is very mild. And fortunately, in USA, we have Paxlovid, anti-COVID antibiotic. And that's so you don't have to worry, at least in USA or USA population, or you go to India, you just take the Paxlovid with you, because in India it's not available still.
Oh, India doesn't have anything like that?
No. So I think, and if you take Paxlovid, then it's like any flu. So nothing you should not get overwhelmed by that or concerned about it.
All right. So let's move on to our rapid fire round. And my first question is from Smita. Smita is asking, are we getting closer to a Gaza ceasefire? Yes or no?
Probably yes.
Okay. Second question is from Kuldeep from DC. Wants to know, will Shashi Tharoor get closer to BJP on his return to India?
That's what everybody is guessing, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, not sure. All right. Amit from New Jersey is asking, is India emerging as an arms supplier post success of Operation Sindoor?
I think I would like to be arms supplier, but we are a long way to go.
All right. Manjali from New Jersey is saying, has Operation Sindoor impacted BJP prospects in Bihar elections?
Yes, I mean their winning prospect is very high because of the Operation Sindoor. Because everybody likes that somebody strong person or strong party saved us from the Pakistan. So I think it's a plus unless something change in between now and August or September whenever there is election. Because
Okay.
we saw that in Uttar Pradesh in last election.
All right. So before you give out this week's message, I want to remind our viewers that you can follow Dr. Sudhir Parikh on Facebook at Dr. Parikh, and you can also follow him on Twitter. The handle is SUDPARIKH. Please go ahead.
Dear friends, I must, on the behalf of Indian diaspora, I would like to congratulate and say 3 kudos to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because the Operation Sindoor, the one he kind of designed with the help of the military and gave them the permission to pursue the Operation Sindoor. It was very effective. We taught the lesson to the Pakistan. We taught the lesson to the terrorist outfit in the Pakistan. So I think it was a great success. Now we have to work in the diplomatic area. And as you know that there is a diplomatic delegation headed by Shashi Tharoor, Minister Shashi Tharoor, not Minister, the Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor is here. I met him personally yesterday, and they have a great plan to convince the USA government, USA people of the America, that India is very firm on the fighting the terrorist and terrorism, and India needs help from the USA to fight against the terrorism. So this is a great message. We all would support that, and I would like to say Jai Hind, and we'll see you next week.